previously when the C7 was bone stock. C7 gains headers and a tune. Welcome back to the channel. We're gonna see how the Corvette does now after bolt-ons and a baby cam. Let's get to it, boys. Let's go, boys. Let's go. I hope y'all enjoyed the races as much as we both did. What a big ass motherfucking difference to the previous two encounters. Encounter 1, I couldn't even hang with the bikes. It would not happen when the C7 was stock. Simply the power to weight ratio on those crotch rockets would be way too much. And realistically speaking, while the Corvette stock can do over 180 miles per hour, it's not very often on the streets that you're gonna do 180, especially in a stock Vet that takes a minute to get up to 180. But by all intents and purposes, when the Vet was stock, it simply could not beat the bikes at a considerable roll of 80 or 60 mile per hour. I could not beat those bikes back then. Not long before that, I ended up upgrading to 2-inch cadless headers and tuning the car. It went from approximately 370 wheel horsepower to 419 wheel horsepower. So on just E85 and headers, it gained a decent amount, but even then I was quite disappointed with just headers E. It wasn't really all that impressive. As a matter of fact, if it wasn't for me testing the numbers, the 60 to 130s, the accelerations, I wouldn't have even been able to tell it was really modified. It didn't chirp the tires very much. It was just very conservative. While it only made 419 wheel horsepower on headers E, it made a little bit over 440 wheel torque. So it was torquey, but again, it was just quite disappointing actually. I was not very content with my tuner. I don't think he was the very best tuner I could have gone with, to be honest, especially for a dyno tune that was a little bit over $1,000. That was kind of disappointing. But whenever we raced the bikes, right, I re-ran my buddy and his bike. You know, from 80 rolls, we didn't just get completely fucked. We like got put maybe a car, maybe less than a car between me and him. And then once he started reaching his top end, so once he started going into probably the end of 5th gear, and I'm in my 4th gear, I ended up passing and beating him. But again, this was all dependent on a high roll. If it was from 60, I would not have beaten him until he basically ran out of gearing. I would have had to, you know, have a huge stretch of road to overcome him. And even when I overcame him, it was a gradual walk away. Now, of course, if I would have shifted into 5th gear and kept the run going, instead of just putting a car and hitting the brakes, the gap would have continued to be laid on him because he runs out of gearing and the Vet keeps going. But even when I did end up passing him, I was walking away. It wasn't this big fucking flyby. Now, back then, like I said, I was not very content with headers E, so we ended up adding a few more bolt-ons. We ended up adding some intake mods, and that's basically it, because we already had headers, so we basically just added intake mods. Let the car breathe better, it could excel better, and then we got it retuned. And then when I got it retuned, it went from 419 wheel horsepower to 453. We never ran that version of the car. I never got to run him when I was just bolt-ons. I wouldn't say full bolt-ons, but I was bolt-ons E compared to just headers E. And I think that would have been a much better race. Too bad we never did. But the car ended up receiving a cam shortly after. It pushed my peak horsepower to 580 wheel horsepower, 515 wheel torque. So, you know, it ended up considerably faster than what it was before. And when we compare the 419 wheel horsepower run to the cam runs that we just did now, it was night and day difference. If we took off from 60, I was ahead the entire time. If we took off from 80, I was ahead the entire time. Even from a 40, the very first 40 that I lost, I misshifted. I fucking lost the gear, and you know, even that one I felt like I was still gonna take the lead, because if he were to have passed, he would have passed by now, meaning that if he didn't pass, he was getting cooked sooner or later. And so even from 40 rolls, beating the 600 was not something I expected. I was very content with the performance gain. It was a huge difference the last time, as it should be. The difference from 419 to 580 wheel is fucking enormous, right? So I expected to see a considerable difference, which overall the runs proved to be considerable. Some of the starts were you know, fair on one side and fair on the other, but even when, you know, when my homeboy got the hit, the fucking runs were the same. As long as it wasn't a blatant jump on either side, the runs didn't really change. Which nobody blatantly jumped. You know, the dude's a professional. He knows how to race. He knows how to lose. He knows how to win. He's a gentleman about things. Like, there's no fucking drama, and that's why I like this dude, because the dude can fucking drive his bike well, and he has no drama behind it. I can appreciate a dude who can lose with fucking pride, like, dude. So overall, I'm very content with the runs. The car runs good, and the cam definitely switched things up. It's something that this car should have already been having from factory, in my opinion. The stock camshaft from factory is so conservative, especially being a newer generation Corvette to the C6 version. The Z06 was already on an aggressive cam. I wish that Z06 cam would have been added to the base model Corvettes, or at the very least a Z51, because this ain't base, you know. We have better aerodynamics, brakes, etc. I expected a little bit more from the stock cam, but either way, I fucking, dude, too bad we never ran when I was quote unquote full bolt-ons E. I felt like those runs would have been fucking spectacular. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have enjoyed the content, and you know, what a big difference to before. And big shout out to my homeboy for making it possible. I know a lot of people, once I became fast, don't want to run me anymore. And other people, I mean, fucking are accusing me of spraying NITROUS and all this stupid shit. It's funny, man. It's funny because the GTI I had on my channel, and I still have, broke a lot of hearts back in the day. Everybody told me I was on hybrid turbo. Everybody had something fucking say about that GTI for breaking records and being the fastest fucking Mark 7 IS20 GTI in the world, and it still is. That's what's fucking funny, is nobody's actually passing. I still see on the forums fucking people talking about fucking 10 second 60 to 130s. Motherfuckers, I was in the high 8s in that fucking car, man. So as a matter of fact, I'm not even gonna share the true numbers with y'all. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, as always, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a good rest of your day.